Hello and welcome back to This Podcast Takes Tokens. I'm Ryan, joined by my excellent brother Derek. We discuss all things nostalgic from, when we grew up, and yeah, pretty fun. So if you're new, the way we usually start these episodes is we have a segment called Retro Ramble, where we ask each other questions and kind of discuss them about maybe just a random question about what we something that we experienced growing up or whatever. So my question for you this week was, what was your first PC gaming experience?
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Well, this one I kind of took in two parts because I feel like there are two different experiences you have PC gaming. The first one is whenever you start up the PC, and for me it was Windows. Minesweeper is included, so that was technically my first, PC gaming experience was Minesweeper, and then Solitaire, but that's not fun. So the first game that I remember buying and being really into on the PC was the original Warcraft. I don't know if you remember that one or not. It's like top-down strategy. Yeah. That was the first one I remember. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I remember we had our first computer in the house was like this 94, 95 Windows gateway machine. And it was like the type, it's got like the CRT monitor that sits on top of the horizontal computer PC. Those old horizontal ones. You don't see the horizontal ones anymore. But
you really don't.
Yeah. So it was one of those. And anyways, after a couple of years, my stepdad got a new one, and that one moved to the kitchen table for a while. And I got Warcraft for it and was playing it on that one. And I remember trying to connect to the phone line so that my friend and I could play across the network, because you could do that on that old one as far back as then. And we just never could get it to work. Like, there was just like something that just wasn't connecting. And we never got it to work right. But so that was my first one.
It seems like those old games were notorious for having networking issues.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know if it was like the 14K modems, or whatever it is that you're doing that with.
I think it was a little bit of that, and then like you're also like you're having to do all of the there's no internet connection that you're using. You're going phone line to phone line, so it's like a straight like phone to phone connection, and you're having to do all of that back end work. Yeah. If you will, enter in all the information. If you get one thing wrong, then it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what it came down to. There was something off with what we were doing, and it just didn't work up. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I remember I found a file, because the games back then were so simple, and you could just go through all the game files. And I found a file in the game library. It was like a text file, and I could edit it, and then it would give me like that amount of gold or whatever.
Yeah,
like, there were certain things that I could change in it. Yeah. It just like, and it was like cheating, but kind of not, I guess. I
didn't care back then, right?
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
Remember the job's done.
Job's done. Yeah.
That was a good game. I enjoyed that. And StarCraft is really good too. Those were two ones that I was really into. So like you, realistically, it was probably going with our dad over to the lumber yard that he worked at. And I'd go there with him at nights, like when he'd have to do books and stuff, and he'd let me play on the computer. And there was like, that space pinball or whatever, and then Minesweeper and Solitaire.
So it's a Windows 98 machine, I think. Then.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. But I think my first real like gaming experience outside of the computer lab at school was, I remember going over to my stepbrother's uncle. So it was his mom's brother that we just went over their house one time, and he had I don't even know what kind of computer it was, but he had Wolfenstein on there, the like original Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And I remember playing that and just blowing away, bad guys. And that was so much fun. That was so much fun. And then we later ended up getting a PC at home, and, we had Diablo and stuff like that. But yeah, that first time was totally, Wolfenstein. All the way.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that reminded me the computer lab ones. I remember playing. Did you ever play the one where you're the two gorillas standing on top of buildings and you're throwing bananas at each other and they like blow little holes in the buildings?
I don't remember that one.
Okay.
What we would traditionally play is either the Oregon Trail, which, I mean, I don't know if that game would fly today. Like, there's like, you get raided by like Native Americans and you're like shooting down buffalo,
Have you played the new version of it?
No.
Yeah, there's one on the Switch. The first time I ever played it was this year on the Switch. It was this new Oregon Trail version that they have. It's a lot. It was pretty fun. It's a fun little, strategy, I guess, like resource type game. Mm-hmm. And they kind of took, I think they flipped that around a little bit. And sometimes you can be paired off with some of the Native Americans as you're going across the trail. And they treat them more as like, just like people living out, in the West. So there's no, I would assume from the original when there was a little like racism to it, but I'm sure there was. There's any in this one.
I was thinking about it today, and I was trying to go over in my head like what I remembered of it, and I mean it wasn't a lot, but I do remember playing that. And then the other one that was big that we played in the computer lab was The Incredible Machine. Did you ever play The Incredible Machine?
No, never heard of this one.
Oh my gosh, you can get it on goodoldgames.com right now.
All right.
And it's like they'll give you like a goal, like you need to close the basket on this ball or something. And then they give you all these tools, rubber bands, gears, ramps, all this stuff to try to figure out how to get the ball over to this section or whatever the task may be. You'll have little hamsters that like you have to excite them by like hitting them with, I don't know, like a ball or something. And then they'll start moving and then it will spin the gears, which will make like, if you got rubber bands connecting them, it'll make something else move. And that was a lot of fun. That was interesting. That was a ton of fun. Yeah.
First time I've heard of this one.
Yeah. It was good. But yeah. PC gaming was, it was a fun experience.
Yeah. I got to say, I'm not much of a PC gamer. Like, other than like those early games, and then a little bit, probably about 20-25 years ago when I built my first PC for myself.
Yeah.
We played like, me and my wife would play like The Sims or the movies, or I played the newer Warcraft games because I enjoyed those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just never got into PC gaming.
I did for a brief stint. I had built like a really high-end PC at the time. Like I really went all out with it. And I was
instantly outdated.
I was really heavy into like, I was playing like, that was like when StarCraft 2 was coming out and Crisis. I was running that at like just, full settings and everything. It was so much fun. And then my network and my roommate's network, we were wired into the modem, like from the router to the modem. So it was hardwired, so we had a better connection. And, we were two guys just living in an apartment, so we didn't care if there was wires running, across the house. And I remember one night it was a really bad electrical storm, and it had to have struck the modem or the router. Had to have been the router because we still had internet connection. But anyway, the only thing I can guess is the strike went through the network cable, because like after that, just my motherboard systematically started shutting down. Like at first I didn't have I couldn't have a network connection. So like I ended up like getting like a wireless network connector to put on there, and because the motherboards didn't have wireless built in at the time. But anyway, yeah, so that was my last hurrah into PC gaming. Once that happened, I just went back to console gaming.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So let us know what your PC gaming, your first PC gaming experience was. We'd love to read it in the comments, and we're going to get the show started right after this.
Yeah. See you later. Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters because this podcast takes tokens.
Welcome back, listeners, viewers, anybody who's with us. Take a moment with me, if you will, and close your eyes as we take a trip back to 1993. Imagine yourself in a dark room. Now listen, the only lighting is the glow of a computer screen. Your Windows 3.1 PC hums with the absolute power of your 66 megahertz processor, your S3 Verge video card, and an unprecedented 8 megabytes of RAM. Incense is burning, and you sit transfixed at the image in front of you. A white skull is hovering next to the words "New Game." Your excitement is unbearable. Your heart is pounding. Your palms are starting to sweat. Can you feel it? I can feel it. You take a breath and you stare at the 4 large red letters fixed at the top of your screen. DOOM. Your life is about to change. That's right. We're talking Doom today. 1993 Doom. Great game.
Great game.
Great game. What a game changer this was. I mean, completely. I'd say it rerouted the course of computer gaming.
I think gaming in general.
Yeah. Great. Released December 10th, 1993. It sold between. So I had a hard time finding the numbers on this. So what I could find was between 1993 and 1999. It sold 3.5 million copies. Now, it also had... So part of this was Shareware, if you remember right. Like the first episode... I was going to bring that up, yeah. Yeah. The first episode was Shareware. So they basically just released that out on the internet or whatever for free to play the first episode. And then I believe you could mail order in the actual game. After you got past the first episode, like something would come up on the screen and like give you information on how to mail order the game. And maybe, I don't know if you could download it or not. I'm not that familiar with 1993's internet.
You couldn't, I don't believe you could download it.
Okay.
But there was Shareware, and it was on, I think, 2 or 3 of those like 3-inch floppies, or the 2.5, the smaller floppies,
the black ones with the little slide thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were called. Yeah. I think they're called floppies, and then the ones that are actually floppy are called hard disks, which was always confusing to me.
Right.
The big floppy ones were called hard disks, and the small hard ones were called floppy disks. So, anyways, it was on those. It's for those in the Gen Alpha, or not millennial, the young, those that are younger than us millennials. Let me explain. This is whenever you look at a save icon, this is what it represents.
Yes.
This floppy disk. That's where the save icon comes from. Surprised they haven't changed that on anything, but I digress. Anyway,
I think
I think it was like,
just leave it.
Yeah, nostalgia. It means something. Yeah. But I think it was on 2, maybe 3 of those. And I remember we had like a box, like our Shareware we got in like a little, like it was in a box. It was like, I think it was like $5. It wasn't that much. Maybe it was 10. I can't remember. And it was in like a gaming box, and the 2 discs were just kind of like loose in there. And yeah, you could, pop those in, play the game. And I seem to recall, like there was, maybe it was just an urban legend, but I seem to recall people talking about a way that you could go in to the software and unlock the full game. Like the whole game was there. And if you whenever you mailed off, what you ended up getting was just a key that you used to unlock the whole game. And you could hack around that from, if I remember correctly. But I could be remembering that wrong, or I could be remembering a different game. Like that could have been a different game that was like that. But yeah, I remember having it. I think we only had the Shareware version of it. I don't think we ever got the full version of it. But we had the Shareware version of it for sure. And that's what I played on. I remember my stepdad he kind of liked games. Like he would get a couple of games here and there, but he would always get like the Shareware versions and play like the first little bit and move on, because he wasn't like a big gamer. He just kind of liked to fiddle with it a little bit and then kind of move on about his day. So yeah, I played on that one. Yeah. I don't think I ever played the full version until recent times.
I didn't either. It was always the Shareware version.
Yeah.
I remember going to like Dollar Tree, and they would have Shareware games that you could buy.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember getting like it's like Arnold Palmer's Golf or something like that. I don't know. There was a couple other ones, but yeah. So if you don't know what Shareware is, if you're one of the younger generations, it was it was only like the first part of the game, and they were intentionally made you could literally share them. Like you could copy them.
Yeah, you could copy them. You could pass them around and do whatever you want with them.
And they were made to get people to be excited about the game, and then we're going to give you the first part of the game. Anybody can play it. Yep. And maybe we'll bait some people into buying the full version of the game with this. So pass out, make as many copies as you want of that Shareware version. Pass it out to as many people as you want, because we think that once they play the first couple levels of Doom, in this case, they're going to want to end up buying the rest of the game from us, which is basically what we have, like demos that we have now. That's what it is. Which is almost
a lot of times they were released before the game was done, or before the game was being released, as like a way to promote the game's upcoming release. I remember that. Like some of them would come out like a month before the actual game was going to come out. And I think there was even some cases where people used it as like a fundraising to complete games. So they would sell the Shareware version to fund like finalizing the actual game, and then releasing the whole game later.
That's good marketing strategy. I never thought about that. Yeah.
I mean, we kind of still do the same thing now. I mean, they got Shareware versions of the game. It's just now you pay $70 for the full game, and then you buy downloadable content after the fact for another $70.
Yeah. Unless you buy the Oblivion remaster. But anyway. Anybody that's listening to this will know what I'm talking about that likes playing games. But anyway, so did you know what this game was almost called?
No idea.
Attack of the Attackers. Doesn't that sound good?
Right? That sounds like AI came up with the title.
You're right. They settled on Doom because I guess they had I don't remember which one of the guys it was, but they had watched The Color of Money, that Tom Hanks movie. And there's a scene where he's playing pool and he pulls out Tom. What did I say? Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
I said Tom. Sorry.
That's a completely different movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Sorry. Tom Cruise is what I meant. I was envisioning Tom Cruise and my mouth said Tom Hanks. Anyway, he pulls out his pool stick. And I think somebody says like, "What's that?" And he says Doom. And they just kind of thought, that'd be a cool name for the game. So that's what they went with. A lot better than Attack of the Attackers. I think that's
definitely. I would take it for sure.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, welcome to This Podcast Takes Tokens. We're talking Attack of the Attackers today.
Right.
just doesn't work. Just doesn't work as well.
Well, I think we'd end up calling it AOA or something like that.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think of Attack of the Show. Did you ever watch that on G4 years ago?
Yeah. That was just like, what was that one? That was like a game review show.
Yeah. They had a little bit of everything, kind of pop culture.
Well, I meant the actual Attack of the Show. That was like they were doing modern, like they were talking about current releases, I think. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this game was originally supposed to be a video game adaptation of the movie Aliens.
I don't see it.
Yeah, well, it obviously didn't go through that way, so they ended up I don't know if I couldn't find why they didn't do that. I don't know if the licensing fell through or something, but you've got part of a game built. It's like, well, let's do something with this instead of just throwing it away.
Right.
But anyway, is what I came up with. So this game had still to this day has an incredible, absolutely phenomenal amount of ports, both official and unofficial. So I'm going to run down the official ports with you real quick. These are the ones that I could find. I'm not saying this is comprehensive, but from my research, these are the ones that I could find. So of course, DOS, right?
Original.
You run on MS-DOS. Windows 3.1, 95, 98, all that. Mac, Linux. This is one I hadn't heard of. Acorn RISC OS. No idea what that is. I don't know. I'm assuming there was a lot of different computer companies back then before kind of Windows and Mac took over the market.
I bet it was like a Linux or a Unix based thing.
It may have been.
Probably.
Yeah. OS2, which was apparently an IBM operating system. So I've never seen that, but there that is. IRIX, Solaris, and now we're getting into the stuff that I'm familiar with. Sega 32X.
Okay.
Now, I remember a friend of mine had this on Sega 32X. Do you remember the Sega 32X at all?
That was that was thing that goes in the inside of your mastery system, right? Or on top of your mastery system, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would be better graphics.
Yeah, it would slot into the cartridge slot on your Genesis or Mega Drive.
Base of your Tower of Power, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes. If you've heard of the Tower of Power, that's what it is. If you haven't heard of it, look it up, but put Sega Tower of Power.
No, yeah.
Yes. So anyway, so he had this game and it did, if I remember right, the graphics did look a little bit better. I don't ever remember being like completely blown away by it. Yeah. But I do remember that he had it and I remember seeing it and I think he had that and there was like Desert Strike or something that he had. It was on the 32X, which
like
was
the helicopter one.
Yeah. So it was on Sega 32X. It wasn't on Genesis. I don't think Genesis could run that.
I'm surprised.
I know.
On the Super Nintendo.
Yep. It was on the SNES. It was on the Atari Jaguar.
I could see that, yeah.
Now, the
Jaguar was trying to be edgy.
It was. Now, the cool thing about the Jaguar version is that the Jaguar controller had more buttons. So the buttons,
like weapon slots.
The weapon slots, you didn't have to cycle through all the weapons. You could just hit whatever button you wanted to hit, and you'd pull up the shotgun or the BFG or whichever one you wanted. Yeah. So interestingly, the Sega 32X version, the Jaguar version, and the SNES version did not have all of the levels due to the cartridge limitations. But the levels that they did have were different for each console.
Yeah. When I sat down and I played it on a couple different versions of it, and the levels were laid out a little differently on each one. Yeah. Or like they would remove some things. Like I can't remember which one. One of them didn't have the barrels on the first level.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that's just for, saving space or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, and I think that there was a couple levels on. I think it was the Super Nintendo version that didn't allow you to play them on the easier difficulties, which is very odd. Like
Oh
the
yeah, it
levels
just
before,
launched right into like a set difficulty.
yeah, it's so strange that they would do that. I mean, that can't be because of hardware limitations or cartridge limitations. I have no idea. I mean, you don't have the answer for it, but I don't either. So I don't know. I just thought that was weird. So it was also ported to PlayStation, 3DO,
Yeah.
Sega Saturn, Game Boy Advance. This is easily. Did you play the Game Boy Advance version of this? Easily the worst one. Yes, you've got him. You've got him. Yeah, look at that flex.
Yeah.
I got to say though, easily the worst versions of this game. Like, I didn't think it ran very well on. Like, it was.
Did you play it recently?
I played it
on here
a couple weeks ago. On
okay,
yeah,
on Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
For Game Boy Advance. Granted, it was an emulator I was using, but it was. What's that?
I'll let you borrow it. It's okay.
That's right. Yeah, you let me borrow it. Whatever.
Yeah, it was a pain for sure.
Yeah,
it's hard to see like the figures in the background. Like there was just like a couple pixels. Like there wasn't much to it.
Yeah,
it was awful graphics. The controls. I mean, it was. I played the PC version of it, and then I played this version for for our podcast here. I played the PC version of it first to refresh with it, and then I played this Game Boy version that I ordered up. And yeah, the controls on it, it was nice to switch to a D-pad and buttons.
Yeah,
I like that. I can like work a controller so much better. Playing the PC version of it, the mouse and keyboard and all that, like, and then like just trying to do it all on the keyboard, trying to do a combo with mouse and keyboard, I can't. Like it, my brain just doesn't function like that. I didn't grow up with it. I didn't develop my gaming skills on that. I developed my gaming skills on a controller, and that's how I know how to play a game.
Yeah.
So whenever you put me on mouse and keyboard, I can't do it. Like, and so anyways, I was playing the PC version of it like that, just to kind of like truly get that nostalgic feeling going. And then I played the Game Boy version of it, and I was like, okay, this one sucks in terms of the graphics.
Yeah.
And I kept getting stuck on stuff, and it was a bit of a pain, but at least I got that D-pad and I got my buttons. Like I feel like I'm controlling it a little bit better. But yeah, man, it was awful.
I can see, so I'll give them this. Like, it's cool, and especially at the time, I'm sure. I mean, I had a Game Boy Advance. I had the old, the Glacier Ice one. I wish I'd never gotten rid of it, but that's same story all the time. I never had this
clamshell.
Oh, yeah, the SPs are nice. Yes. I never had this on Game Boy Advance, but I can see how if you had it, like, oh man, this is cool. I can play Doom on the go.
Yeah,
right.
Like if it was your only experience with it too, you might be like, oh, this is a great game, and then you play like another version and be like, oh, this is even better. This
is the inferior version. Did you notice the other big difference with the advanced version?
I seem to recall it was missing a few items throughout, like the map. Like I don't think there was any secret rooms either. Like I don't think I could access any of the secret stuff.
I think that's right. Yeah. So the difference I noticed was that they replaced the red blood in traditional Nintendo fashion with green blood.
Oh, I didn't even notice blood at all.
Yeah. Yep.
I wasn't looking for it, but there were like little red, like oozing patches on the ground and stuff.
But not the blood, though. Yeah,
I guess
which makes no sense to me. Like, and then there was some like some of the later levels, you'll have like people or enemies, I can't remember, but like, things impaled on spikes. They took those completely out of the GBA versions. I don't think Nintendo would do that now because they've ported Doom 2016, Doom Eternal onto the Switch.
They're putting what's that one, Night Stalker or whatever, that old like 80s game is on the Switch. And that's like, I mean, that turned heads back. They wouldn't allow that back in the day. Night Trap, that's it.
Yeah.
Night Trap. Yeah, they wouldn't have allowed that back in the day, but now they're like, okay.
They're kind of like, whatever. It's a family console for every family member.
But I gotta say, playing in this recent rehash, playing through a bunch of different ones, you were talking about the Super Nintendo version. That I have noted as the worst port I'd played so far.
Really?
Yes, and it was just because, and maybe it was, well, I don't know. It was jumpy. The frame rate was really low and kind of laggy. I kept getting stuck against walls, just corners or even just straight walls, walking against them, trying to find hidden doors. And it would just stick and I couldn't get off, or I'd have to back away from it and kind of get off of it. And then I could continue forward. But yeah, and it had the same issue where I could barely make out the enemies at a distance. I'm pretty sure it was similar to the Game Boy one. The Game Boy one might just be the Super Nintendo version, but running on better hardware.
It could be. But
yeah,
the Super Nintendo version did have a really cool cartridge, though. At least in the United States.
Cartridge.
Yeah, nice red cartridge. I think in what I read in Europe and Japan and all that, it was still the same old plain gray cartridge.
Gray one.
But I mean, the red, man.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of games that had different colored cartridges back then. The ones that did were Killer Instinct, I think, was a black cartridge, and stuff was
Maximum
so cool.
Carnage was the red cartridge.
Yep.
Again, yeah, they were the cool ones for sure. Yeah, Killer Instinct, I remember that one. I'm surprised they didn't do Zelda in the gold cartridge. I think that was one of the only ones they didn't do in the gold. But,
yeah. I don't know. Somebody out there's done it. I'm sure you can find it online
somewhere. Oh, yes, mods for sure.
Yeah. So Game Boy Advance, of course, they released it for Xbox 360, Xbox One, the series, all the Xbox series. All the modern consoles have it. Switch, it's on iOS, it's on Android, Raspberry Pi Pico, and they had a web TV port of this, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know you can go play it online. There's a website, and it's just you just play Doom.
Yeah.
And it's just running on, I think, HTML at that point. But yeah, that's everywhere. You can play just about anywhere.
I couldn't believe
the other one I
played.
played.
Web TV, but
the web TV, I know. Right?
I mean, people that don't know, the web TV was a thing back in the mid to late 90s, where you could browse the internet on your television set.
Yeah,
it had a modem built into it. It was kind of like
your cable.
I don't want to say a DVR, but it was like a cable box.
Yeah,
you could browse the web, but I don't know, it was short lived.
Yeah, you had to wire in a keyboard and a mouse to wherever you kept this thing, which most people kept under or on top of their TV. So then you had wires running down. Yeah, it just didn't work. It just wasn't something that was made for. I mean, I guess there was a certain audience for it, but most people, because then you're taking over the TV. What's Dad gonna do while you're playing video games?
Yeah.
But the only other one I played on a revisit here, other than those first three, was the PS2 or the PS1 version of it, and it was probably the better experience. But the texturing that they used in it made the hidden doors a little more obvious. They stood out. They were either a completely different color than the rest of the wall, or as you walk by sometimes, you get that shimmer, or something from it. Yeah, it would shimmer different and
clearly be slightly different than
the door.
Yeah.
So you can find the hidden door, which I completely forgot about all the hidden doors and stuff until the first time I played through it. And then, all the stats come up and it was hidden areas discovered 0. And I was like, oh yeah, there's hidden areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that kind of made it, that really made it replayable. You can go back and, I got to find these hidden locations, and they had little collectibles and stuff that you could find. And
you get the little chips.
Yeah. Yep.
Computer chips, not tasty chips.
Yeah, it's Doritos just sitting around there everywhere. Yeah, Doom guy's got He's got a hungry stomach.
That's how they paid for it. Product
That's
placement, right?
That's right. Yeah, I had read from the stuff I was reading when I was doing a little bit of research for this that the PlayStation version, as far as consoles, was the best at the time. I mean, now with modern consoles, like it runs smooth as silk. I played it on my PS5 and it ran great.
That was the only one I didn't get to go back and play. That's what I wanted to go back and play it on. I just never got a chance to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was going to say unofficial ports, but that kind of just runs into everything else. So you had broken this up. I originally had broken this up into just some easy, well, I don't want to say easy, just fewer sections. But you had come at me before we started. And go ahead and name off your sections that you had broken these unofficial ports. I'll say.
For Will It Run Doom. So
Will It Run
things
Doom
that people ran Doom on. Yeah, I said we could do the funniest one, the most meta one, and the coolest one.
Okay.
You got a funny one?
Funny one. Let's see here. Have you seen some guy on Twitter had this running on a pregnancy test?
Okay, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty wild to me.
I think I got a beat.
Okay.
And for the sake of our audience, I'm just going to say this one was ported. It has a color screen on it to a personal massager for him. So you can play Doom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That may be the funniest.
Why?
I don't know.
I guess why would you put it on a pregnancy test? But just to say you could do it. Jeez. Gosh.
So perhaps what's maybe the most meta one you've seen?
The most meta. So let me hear yours real quick. I make sure that I've got meta right here.
Mine works, from what I've seen, in two ways, virtually and in real life. So I think it was Fallout New Vegas. They had a special edition that you could get, and it came with a actual PipBoy that you could put on your wrist.
Oh yeah,
Our cousin has
one of those.
It like works to some extent. I don't know what all it does, but it's got a screen. So somebody ported Doom onto that screen, so you could play Doom on your PipBoy. Well,
awesome.
There's also a mod for the game where you can play Doom on your PipBoy in the game. So,
okay,
it come full circle.
Very cool. Okay, so that's the route I was going. So there was actually two meta ones that I had found while I was doing my research here. But the first one was Minecraft. Somebody's made a mod where you can play it in Minecraft. Okay. You can do anything in Minecraft. But have you ever played the Outer Wilds?
No.
Okay, so it's this game where you're like exploring the solar system. It doesn't give you any real direction. You have to figure it out yourself. You're in this little spacecraft.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this. It just keeps going like infinitely.
Well, no, like, so this...
I'm thinking of No Man's Land.
You're thinking of No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, yeah.
So this, like, is on a... So the sun in this universe is going to explode in 22 minutes. You have 22 minutes to explore different planets and everything in this universe, and it's got really cool physics and everything, but you've got this... So the sun will explode, and then you wake up, and it's back to like the 22 minutes before again. So then you get back in your spacecraft, and you try to piece this thing together 22 minutes at a time.
It's like the Edge of Tomorrow or something.
Yeah. It's a very fun game. But so you've got this little spacecraft that you're spending a lot of your time in. Somebody had modded it to where you can play Doom on the screen in the spacecraft. So you could play Doom in a spacecraft on
waiting for the
basically Mars. So yeah. Anyway,
that's pretty cool. I like that one.
Yeah,
I think those are probably the best. Is whenever it's a game within a game.
Yes,
those are some of my favorites for sure.
I agree.
All right, last category: coolest mod you've seen.
Okay, mine's
a duel.
It's a duel.
I got two of them.
Okay. I found it and I played it last night. Somebody has built it into a PDF file.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's all black and white, obviously when you're playing it, but it runs and you can full on play it in a PDF file.
Huh. So are the controls like on the screen and you have to like click around to them, or
No,
they've
mapped it to where you can use like the AWSD or whatever to move around and all that. So yeah,
all right.
You can look it up.
That's
you just look up like Doom PDF and you can download it and play it.
That's a pretty cool version of it. I came at it from two angles.
Okay.
One that I saw that was kind of cool was somebody put it on one of those DDR machines, Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
So you're playing with your feet. So you're kind of like running while you're playing it. I was like, that's kind of cool. The other one was somebody recently put it on one of the Nintendo Alarmos. So you've seen this new alarm that Nintendo's got there coming out with? You haven't seen the new? Yeah.
I have not. I have not seen it.
There's like this, it's probably like the size of like a small apple. And it's an alarm clock. But it's like, you can get like a Mario theme or a Zelda theme and you download it and I think you control it with your phone and you put it on there. And then like Mario will pop up on there and it'll play like Gentle Mario song. Like it'll like ease into it and everything and wake you up. And then there's a big button on top that you press down and it silences your alarm. Well, the button also doubles as a knob. So it's like you can press it down or you can rotate it to change your theme, if you will. And then there's a button on either side of it. So there's an A and a B button basically. And then the little knob that you can press down, you can twist, and I think you can move it forward and backward. Like it's got like it's like a 6-axis thing or something. Somebody poured a Doom on there, and that little knob is what you use to control it. Like you twist it to do your turning left and right, and you like push it forward. He walks forward, you pull it back, pull side to side to strafing, and then the A and the B button on the sides. And that's your attack and your action buttons. And that was a pretty cool one. I thought like it was cool. Like it worked.
Yeah. I had not heard of those. I may have to invest in one of those. So here, I wrote these down. I just want to run through them, and we'll be done with the ports, people, here in just a second. But we're having fun.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So some other unofficial ports. Some will it run Doom? The iPod Classic, the iPod Nano.
Yeah, seen those.
Amazon Fire TV stick. Somebody's put it on there. Nintendo DS. Oddly, the DS did not have an official port for this, which was weird, but somebody's got it running on there. The Apple Watch, I'm sure they've put it on Android watches or whatever. A Husqvarna robotic lawnmower, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I guess there's a screen on it, and they've
if it's got a screen, it can run Doom, right?
That's right. A Samsung all-in-one washer. Yeah. The Porsche 911. I guess the screen inside the Porsche. They've done it. There was a parking kiosk that I saw that they put it on. Digital cameras. Yeah. Honeywell thermostat, which I've got one of those. I might try to do that. And this one I thought maybe you'd appreciate. It was a TI-84 calculator that they had put.
I can see that,
which is pretty fun. Yeah.
I like the Honeywell thermostat. Wife's like, it's a little cold in here. Can we turn it up? Yeah, I just got to beat the first level. I just keep getting stuck.
Just hang on. Well, I guess that's got a touch screen. I don't know how else you would control it, but all the ones I've seen that are ported to something that doesn't have buttons. It's a touch screen thing, and it's got like the little reticle on either side. Oh, I can't do that. Just can't.
Because then you're covering up most of the screen. You can't really see what you're doing either.
I remember trying to play games on like my first
the first
Apple
touchscreen
phone.
phones.
I'm just like, oh, darn, I can't do it. Yeah, I can't see. So those are some really cool ports that I found that you found. And it's just kind of fun to look at that. So this game also had a couple sequels to it. Several. Doom 2, which you have.
Yeah.
I haven't played Doom 2. I've got it, but I have. That's one I haven't played.
I fired it up. I played just a few minutes of it, and it's
more
continuing Doom. Yeah, it's more Doom.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see much story going on.
There wasn't much story, you said?
Not that I saw, but I mean, I don't remember there being much story in the first one either.
No. Now, Doom 3, I think, is where it kind of took a turn. They started throwing some story in there. I remember that turned into more of almost a horror shooter when I was playing that in high, because I think that came out my senior year of high school, and I was playing.
I remember you had it when I came for your graduation.
Yes,
you were down in the basement on Xbox, I think, playing it.
I still own that. Yep, I didn't bring it with me to sit here, but I've got the steel book of
that's right.
Doom 3, and it actually comes packaged. It's a special edition. It's steel. It comes packaged with Doom and Doom 2 as well. You can play off the disc. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I remember that game. That game it scared me. I remember the because like you would come around corners and it'd be dark, and you had a flashlight, but you couldn't. You could hold your flashlight up, but when you went to shoot,
hold your gun.
And somebody had made the duct tape mod, so like it would duct tape the flashlight onto your guns, so you could see when you were shooting. But I mean, I couldn't do that on Xbox at the time. But the PC version had that. There was Doom 64, which I've never played that. I don't know if it is just the same Doom 1, just updated graphics. I have no idea.
I wish I would have checked that one out. I didn't even think about that one.
I've looked to buy that one on like eBay, and it's one of the pricier Nintendo 64 games.
I think that one comes in a red version as well. I
think it does. And I just haven't wanted to pull the trigger on that yet. It's like that and Duke Nukem that I've wanted to get, and that's another expensive one. And then, of course, 2016, they kind of revived the game. They did I don't want to say revived. Reimagining of it, yeah. So they had Doom 2016. That game's awesome. I own it. It's just balls to the wall, just shooting and killing demons and everything. It's so much fun.
That's the one I got for the Switch that I thought was the originals, but it turns out it's this new one. I haven't played it yet.
Game. I don't know how. I have no idea how they ported that and Doom Eternal, the sequel, to the Switch. I have no idea, because they look great on the Switch.
Yeah,
and like there's the Switch has no business running something that good. That looks that good.
The way they program it, it can run on anything, right?
I know. That's right. Yeah. And then, of course, they've got Doom Dark Ages, which comes out. We're recording this May 1st, so it comes out here in a few weeks. I'm excited for that one. That should be pretty fun.
Right on.
And they, of course, had the infamous Doom movie. Did you ever watch the Doom movie?
I watched it when it came out. Actually, I bought it before I'd seen it. I bought it to watch it because at the time I was like, I'm going to buy movies. I'm not going to just rent them. I'm going to buy them. If I'm interested in watching it, I'm going to go ahead and buy it and build up a collection. So I bought it. That was dumb.
It's so bad. It's so bad. We'll have to. I think it is on our list to do.
Yeah, we'll watch it eventually. But yeah, I remember it being like, it was just like it was. There wasn't anything memorable about it. I remember The Rock was in it, younger The Rock. Like, this is 25 years ago now, probably, or 20 years ago now, probably. 20 years ago now for sure.
Yeah.
And The Rock was in it. I remember that, but I don't really remember much about it. I remember they made a big deal about them doing like the camera first person, and you could see his hands and all that.
There's just like one scene.
Yeah,
and I'm like, come on, give me a break. Like, this is.
But like I said, I don't really remember it, so I don't remember the plot, what it was about. I just remember they had that one scene. And The Rock was in it.
I remember The Rock turning into like a Hell Knight. And
that's right. Yeah, he did. He turned evil or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't remember much else from it. I'm now that we're discussing it, I'm anxious to go back and rewatch that.
I think Carl Urban was in it as well.
Carl Urban, he was Doom guy. Yeah, which they gave him a name, so there's that. And this is for the longest time, the movie industry was trying to figure out how to do video game adaptations, and it's not really until recently, like within the last couple of years, that they've started doing them well. It's taken a long time.
I don't know if I'd say well. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but It seems like the only way that they can do a good movie based on a game franchise is to make it like an animated thing. I haven't seen.
The Last of Us was great.
Oh, that's right. Yes, The Last of Us. You're right. You're correct. Yes, The Last of Us was, and like, don't spoil second season for me yet. I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting for them to stack up a little bit. I don't like this whole waiting a week thing, but I'm already getting spoilers and it's driving me nuts.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, like that's fantastic. I'll give you that. That's a great one. That's the way. Yes, it should be. But like
Fallout, Anyway, sorry. I'm going to keep the Super Mario Brothers movie was good.
Yeah, it was good, but it was animated, and like the TV. I think TV is the way to go with it because you can episodically, you can tell a longer story, and you can kind of explore these worlds. I feel like in a movie, it's too quick. Like you got 3 acts that you got to get everything out in, and to translate a whole video game into that, especially a franchise like Fallout or Last of Us or something like that. There's too much. You can't do it in a movie. And you can't run the risk of doing just part of it in hopes that you're going to do future movies, but a TV series, that's the way to go. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I will say it was a little bit cheesy, but I did enjoy I think it was 2018 Mortal Kombat movie. I thought it was fun.
Oh yeah, the last one they did.
Yeah. It was pretty. It was pretty
bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That coming out now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Anyway, the Doom movie was not good. And that's where we're at with that. So
I remember enjoying the first Mortal Kombat movie, but I was a kid. The first Mortal Kombat and the first Street Fighter movie. Yeah, I remember enjoying them as a kid.
Yeah, but Street Fighter. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
the rewatch may not hold water, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, hopefully, like Raul Julia is still. Still solid in there at least.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you remember the first time you played this game?
I don't remember the first time, but I remember, like I said, I remember having it on that old.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
Gateway. Computer. We had the shareware version of it.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I didn't play it much. Like, when I built a computer, that wasn't the game I went out and got. Whenever I saw it ported to other game systems, I didn't go out and get it. Wasn't really interested in it. Doom was kind of one of those things that was like, yeah, it was cool, but what do you got going on now? And I was always looking at like the newer stuff, and I never really went back to Doom. How about you?
Yeah, I had an old PC that I had bought from a friend. I don't even know what I paid for it. He's the one. I'm the sucker in the deal because it ran on Windows 3.1, but it was like I mean, Derek, it was bad. It was a bad computer, and like I had Doom for it and the shareware version of Doom, but like I'd try to play it, and it stuttered playing Doom. The frame rate would drop to like nothing, and it was completely terrible. So that was really like my first full-on experience, if you can even call it that, with Doom, was playing on this Windows 3.1 PC that it was maybe like 5 or 10 frames a second. It was so bad. I would fire the gun
and watch the bullet.
Oh yeah, like I would hit like the space bar to fire. And then it would take a couple seconds, and then I would see it like, pop, 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 or it would come up, and then you would hear the pop, and then like a second later, you would see the demon, like fall down. It was, So my first experience was pretty rough with it. I don't really remember the first time I full on like actually played it. Well, no, I do. It was when I had my Doom 3. On Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And I played it off of there, and it ran fine, and that was.
Oh, this is what it's supposed to play like.
Yeah, exactly. You mean this isn't supposed to just stutter? I cannot believe I made that deal. Like, I think I ended up paying him like $30 or something for this thing. But like at the time,
$30 for a computer. Come on now.
Well, but at the time, like I was only making money from like cutting grass and. you know, like Dad was paying me Dad was freaking getting slave labor out of me. He was paying me like $5 to cut that yard.
Oh my
And I
god.
thought I was rolling in the dough. I remember him saying one time, he's like, I wouldn't get anybody else to cut it. I can't get anybody else to do it for $5.
You were a sucker. I think he paid me like 20 the last times I did it.
You're kidding me.
No, yeah. I get 20 every time. I think I was getting 10 for a while. And then like the last couple summers, whenever I was in high school, I was getting 20.
Oh my gosh.
And then he must have found you and been like, oh, well, this is
$5.
better.
Yeah. I think I told him $5 because I didn't know what to tell him. And he never argued with me on it. And I guess I wouldn't either, you know? So,
teach you a lesson. Value yourself.
So that's like, so I was doing that. And then I was cutting the grass like for my mom and my stepdad. And I think I was getting, I don't know, I would get like a weekly allowance or something. But it took me, it was like a good, like $30 is probably a good like month's worth of work, if not, you know, a month and a half. So I threw that down on this computer and what a piece of junk. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Hey, but you had a computer gaming experience, so.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's an experience I'll remember forever. Replay impressions on this. What did you think on the replay?
This is one of those games that's just best left in the past for me. Like, I don't know that I'll play it again much. Although, I do say that. And that was my initial impressions upon the first time I played it through on the PC. And then I went through and played it through on a bunch of different consoles. And I was just like, I mean, it's fun. I remember it being a lot more fun. And I think at the time when it came out, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But now I'm like, I don't really like shooter games as much anymore. I'm more like strategy based games. So for me, it doesn't scratch the gaming itch as much. But the last time I played it, like probably about a half hour before we got on, I busted out my controller on the PC here and I was playing it with the controller. That was a much better experience. Just because I'm a controller person.
Yeah.
My hands just work better that way, I guess. And that was better. Like, I could play it like that comfortably. I felt like I was getting around better. I wasn't constantly, like, looking back at my keyboard, like, what am I doing? And, like,
where's the buttons?
Which key does... Yeah, because it's like, I got... Which button shoots? I don't know. Maybe it's this one? Nope. Maybe it's this one? Nope. Oh, it's the control button. Of course, that makes sense. I'm going to hit the control button for the shoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... Yeah, it's just anyways, the game controller is much more comfortable for me. I played it like that with the game controller. And I got through. I stopped somewhere in the middle of the third level. Was it levels or what are they, rounds? I don't know what you call them on this particular game.
Levels.
Worlds?
Yeah.
Levels, yeah, the third level of the first world. And I was about through the third level, and then I looked at the time and I was like, oh, we got to be getting on here pretty soon. So I just like kicked out of it. But yeah, like, I think the thing for me would be to go back and find all the secret stuff. Find all the secret. But that was kind of like, I went back and I did the first level a couple times trying to find everything. And I would only get to like, I think like 66 or 70 something % through it. So I was like, okay, clearly I'm missing a room somewhere. And I can't figure out where it is. And just walking around against the wall and just trying to like find like a secret door was just driving me nuts. And so eventually I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I'm either going to go watch something online, find out where it's at, go do it, and then just check that off my list. But I think I don't even want to go through that effort, to be honest. So for me, I think it's one of those ones I'm okay with, you know, it being a good game as a kid, and now it's not my style anymore. Yeah. How about you?
I had fun with it. So we're so spoiled with modern games now. Like unlike you, like I love a good first person shooter. Like I crave them, and they just don't make them very much anymore. And so when I get one like
that aren't MMOs.
Yes. when I get a good single player first person shooter that's like level based, you're going from one stage to the next or whatever, like the old Halo games were like that.
Or like Metal Gear Solid, like that I can get down with.
Yeah.
I can get down with that for sure.
So I love that. But I'm so spoiled by them. Like, so I was playing this and I've been a while. It's been almost 20 years probably since I'd really sat down to play Doom. And I've forgotten that you can't look up or down.
Yeah,
it's fixed. And I know that's not a slight at the game because that's the technology that they had at the time. And this game, when it came out, was high end. Like it was, it was.
You wouldn't have thought about looking up or down because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah. But like now that you're used to being able to do it, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like
because you're like the guy's up there. How am I going to shoot him? And then you fire and it auto adjusts.
The bullet like fly. It zooms up. Yeah. It's simple.
It's like magic bullets.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that was weird. But there's something that is just to me so satisfying about going through there with specifically the shotgun.
Yes.
And just blasting demons. I mean, like the BFG, I know people are like, oh, the BFG is the best weapon. And it's a fantastic weapon. But that shotgun, the way it handles, the way it just like the sound to it, it's so weird. Like I almost feel like I'm really firing it just the way it is. And that's
the only thing is the reload
game.
Time. Because like if you got a couple of them lined up, you got to take one of them out and you got to duck behind something so you don't get hit and then wait for him to like come back down and then fire the next one. But
I love the animation when he's like, reloading and but I'm not ashamed to admit I got to the point playing through this where I was wanting to get through it so that I could talk about it. And I put it on God mode. So like I wasn't getting, I could just go through and I still had a lot of fun
mowing them down.
Yeah. That's what it is, right? They made this game for fun. They made it to like, they didn't give it a crazy story. It wasn't like some, long drawn out role playing game or something. They just, what's your story? You're a space marine on Mars. A portal to hell has opened up, and you've got to kill all these demons. That's all I need for this game. I'm just going to just let me shoot them.
I gotta say, none of us turned out. Well, we didn't turn out to be mass murderers, so
no,
clearly, it wasn't the demon scare that they thought it was back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I did have fun going back to it. If you ask me if it holds up today,
well, I mean,
based on what it is,
hold up.
Yeah, I think that as a pillar stone of pop culture, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's up there. Like
holds up as well as any other game from the
absolutely, and it's an important game, and it should go down in history as being remembered, and it will, and I'm fine with that.
Did you ever see the Windows screensaver? That's the Doom levels, and it's just like the guy running through the.
I have seen that.
Windows screensaver. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I think that was part of the game, wasn't it? I can't remember. Or was that
there was. So yeah, if you let it sit there for a few minutes,
he'll just do it. Yeah,
it'll just show him going through there. But I thought he was actually like it was somebody's playthrough, but I could be wrong.
Could have been. I mean, the game came on disc. It had to have been like a developer playthrough or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe their version of AI or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's Doom. I don't really have much else to say. It's fun going back and fun talking about it. And
yeah, I mean, I recommend if it's like if you played it as a kid and you haven't played it in a while, go back and give it a shot. Yeah. I mean, it's like what I think I got it for $5 on Steam. Mm-hmm. You can play it on your PC. You can get it on any modern gaming console. Now it comes in, I think, the PS5 in the PlayStation Plus library.
It's on the PlayStation Plus. It's on the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like even like if you've never played it, I highly recommend at least trying it once. You have to go into it knowing this is an older game.
Yeah.
Controls it's 30 years old now, but just go into it with that, and it's I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
If you enjoy retro gaming, this is for you. This would be a good one to try out for sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, with that, I think we are wrapped on Doom. But should let the folks at home know this summer we're going to do another summer series of movies, and we're launching into that starting on the next episode. We'll be doing our summer series of movies, and we are doing a what are we doing? Best Buds of Summer. Yeah, is what we were doing. So it's buddy movies about best buds, friends, that sort of thing. So we're going to do a series of 10 movies on that, and that'll be fun. We hope you tune along with us. And we'll start that off next week. But before we get there, do we have any comments from anybody?
I did not. I didn't see any.
Okay.
Did you see any?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But
I check it. I check it every evening, and yeah, seriously, if you want to get on here and give us a comment, whether it's on the YouTube feed, Instagram, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Like we see all that, and we would love to read your comments. We love to interact with you guys. So
we did have one come in. That's right, and it was on the Instagram.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I think it's probably because I accidentally clicked on it, and then the notification goes away for you.
Oh, sure.
Which is annoying, but that's the way it is. I'm not quite sure what to make of this one though. We were on it was a clip from our Star Wars episode, and we were talking about I don't remember. We were talking about you were talking about the Mighty Max toys that you had that were like Star Wars based, and somebody commented, Jar Jar Binks being the best.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. I'm sorry. I replied to that one. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I do remember that one. Yes. Okay. My mistake. Listen, I'm a dad that doesn't get a lot of sleep, so sometimes
that's what happens.
I forget things.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do you make? What do you think they meant by that? I couldn't make heads or tails of that comment.
I don't know.
Okay.
I was a little.
Because we didn't mention Jar Jar Binks in the clip. That's why I was like, I don't know.
There was another clip that we mentioned Jar Jar Binks, but
maybe they just comment on a different one.
So maybe I don't know, but we appreciate your comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we do. We really do. Yeah. I
just don't know what it meant.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean, like, if he's your favorite character, that's cool.
Yeah.
They ain't no harm in that. Some people like young Anakin. Not very many of them, but some people do.
That's true. Yep.
Jar Jar Binks.
I have a Jar Jar Binks keychain because my stepson got it for me, and when he was little, and I still have it on my keychain. So.
That's right. Well, before we head out, let me leave you with our retro ramble question for next week, and that is. And hopefully you can play along with me here. What's something you still have from your childhood and is on display in your home somewhere? So
wish I could say these.
Funko Pops aren't that old.
No, they're not. That's why I said I wish I could say that.
Yeah. So. Just a cherished childhood item that you still got lying around somewhere that brings up feelings or memories from time to time.
Yeah, sounds good.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, all right, folks. With that, I think we're going to let y'all go. And remember, be kind and rewind. Leave some reviews, shares, whatever you feel like. And we appreciate it all. We read the comments. And we'll see y'all next week.
See ya. This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production.